All right,
All
you ready
right.
to move
Yeah,
to
move on to the
number
Wizards.
2? The Washington Wizards have this pick. All indications are it's going to be Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr did not even work out for the Hawks, and I think this is talk about fit.
Yeah.
This is incredible. This is exactly what the Washington Wizards needs because they were one of the worst defensive teams in the league, worst rim protection teams in the league. Obviously, they traded Daniel Gafford, and so like that didn't help. But like they need a big man for the future, and Alex Sarr not only is that, but also has the potential to be more than that. We think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the number one on our boards for a reason. Instantly when he comes in the league, it's going to be defensive upside and just impact right now. I think that he's probably I'm not gonna say the best defender in the draft class because there's definitely a few others, but I think he's because he's 7'1" and he has a 7'5" wingspan, he's able to do a lot on the court, and I think he'll be able to guard 3 through 5. And like you said, that's something that the Wizards desperately need, especially at the 5 position. And on top of that, if he's able to get his 3-point shooting in, if he's able to get a little bit stronger, there's more than him just being like a defensive
Like a
stopper.
defensive,
Like he can be more than that.
man. Well, also to expand on the defensive side of the ball, an 8% block percentage in the NBL, which led the league last year. This is obviously an NBL that we know is very, very good and competitive. We've seen guys like AJ Johnson struggle or not even get on the court over there. I mean, we've seen like RJ Hampton go over there. There have been a lot of players go over there and just have like average years. Trenton Flowers as well. Sarr was 17 minutes per game, 27 games played, 9.5 points, 4.5 rebounds. And here goes the pick now. Actually, here. Damn, this fast. They're working now.
With the second pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr from Toulouse, France. Overtime elite.
Oh, they gave Overtime Elite a shout out there.
Wow. That's incredible, actually.
He's number one on our boards for a reason. Like we were talking about, the defense is, I think, immediately translatable. 8% block percentage in the NBL, the 7'5" wingspan, and the versatility at 7'1" is really, really unique. And so I'm not 100% sure if I want him playing the 4 or the 5 full time.
Right.
I think it depends on the guy next to him defensively, because I would love him just to be able to roam around and kind of help and protect the rim. That's where I think he's best at. But I just think he has a lot of potential on the defensive side of the ball, just starting off there.
Well, that's where kind of the questions are too, right? Like he weighs 224 at 7'1", and he's not super, super physical on the defensive end, basically just because of strength. So it kind of, where's his role going to be on the floor? And is that going to be at the 4 or 5? Obviously, I think he has the ability to play the 5 offensively, but he doesn't necessarily have the ability to play the 4 offensively right now. So you need to see him develop that shot. I think his playmaking is definitely there, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Wizards use him. Obviously, they also Wizards traded Denny Advia for anybody who lost on that, so they'll have another pick at 14 now. So it'll be interesting to see where they go at that pick.
Yeah. Talking about going back to the offense a little bit, a lot of it is theoretical right now. Like we understand that the dribble ability, the finishing, the shooting, like all of that is very theoretical. Now he was 66% at the rim, but he only shot 14 of 49 on threes this past year. So it's like, where will he go from here? A very young player, 19 years old, spent a year at Perth, which, like we talked about, is a very good league. So I'm kind of just buying him, like wherever you want to put him, the Wizards, you give him a lot of freedom. And you just say, here are the keys for a bit. Like, I know we have Jordan Poole and Bub Carrington and some dudes, but like ultimately he is their guy now, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, it's him and Bilal Coulibaly, I think defensively are one already. That's a really great 1-2, and then just with their upside in general. Just to finish up, I guess, for his offensive ability, I know he finished 66% at the rim, but layups might be a problem. He's 17 to 37 on layups in the half court. Again, that's going to open up if he's able to attack closeouts, if he's able to hit the 3. But I think you and I both buy him as a player overall, so not overly concerned. Obviously, he's number one for a reason. So
yeah, my highest rated player here, I had him at a 93. For those wondering, like that would have ranked.
Our ratings
last year.
Where do I have him? Yeah, 92 for me.
Almond, below Cam Whitmore, and like guys like that. So, yeah, fluid hips. I'm still just buying in on him having the highest upside here in the draft. I just defensively, especially with what he can do, I think it makes him a pretty, like, honestly, kind of safe pick because at the very least, he's going to be a good defender that can kind of switch and work with you in a lot of different schemes. So,
yeah,
I have comps as like Serge Ibaka, Jaren. Like, I think
I love that Serge Ibaka comp.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is always interesting to me in terms of that like mold of player, and he is a 4, Jaren Jackson Jr. So you kind of see those similarities. Nick Claxton, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is the most popular one, right? Like that's the one that goes out there because he like looks like him, like
yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Moving on to the Wizards.
Speak of the devil. Here we are. Took Alex Sarr first.
So what do they need? A guard?
They need everything, Colin.
I know, but like if we're talking
about Topic at this buy, honestly.
You could do like a Jared McCain. Personally, I wouldn't be mad at like a
McCain Connect.
I don't know about Imagine Connect on this team. That would just be
shooting the ball. That would be Jordan pulling the court at the same time.
That'd just be a brutal watch. That'd be a brutal watch.
Just pulling. Yeah, man, it gets dire.
If you're gonna go project, I think. I mean, honestly, you get rid of Denny Avdia. Do you take a Tristan da Silva? It's kind of it is getting dire. Looking through the dire. You could do if you really wanted to reach hard for a guard that like you want ready now. You could go like Tyler Kolek. You could do a Bub Carrington. Yeah. You wanted upside. You could do
Bub's my pick. Thank you.
Your pick.
Bub's my pick. If I'm the Wizards, I'm taking Bub Carrington right here. And I'm just being happy with it. I think you need a guard that can create for himself and create for others, that's young, that has room to grow alongside Alex Sarr. I'm taking Bub Carrington. He's number 16 on my board. Let's see who they take.
14th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Bub Carrington.
There we go.
I'm a genius.
I mentioned him first, but that's okay.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, I mean, you get a guy that's one of the youngest players in the draft, not even 19, 6'5", 6'8" wingspan, had the ball in his hands a lot, and I think honestly has one of the highest upsides in the draft. I think his ceiling could be like Nets Spencer Dinwiddie. I think they have very similar play styles. Can be a scoring guard.
I think he'd be better than that.
Nets Spencer Dinwiddie, he was cold.
He was cold.
Like, I mean,
this is the guy who grew, like he's a late grower.
Yeah.
Had really a lot of responsibilities at Pitt last year. 33 minutes per game, 14 points, 4 assists, 5 boards, 2 turnovers, 41% from the field, 32% from 3. 23% usage rate, 24% assist rate. I love the way he sees the court as a young guy. He never looks like rushed. He obviously has an incredible pull-up jumper, the best pull-up jumper, at least in this year's draft, just not in the past couple of drafts. Like the one dribble pull-ups, like I'm assuming those.
Especially the pick and roll.
Yeah, off the bounce, you just love to see the way he elevates and scores. So 38% of his possessions were out of the pick and roll. He's incredibly comfortable there. And then also, I think he has pretty good defensive upside. Like he's positional. And as long as he's not like guarding the best player on the other team, I think can grow into that role. Some of this is projection with Bub.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough tools here to where I'm good on him being a lottery pick.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine with it. My weaknesses is his frame, obviously, like you said, late grower. I think definitely needs to bulk up a bit, especially for that defensive end. And then rim pressure. I think rim pressure is definitely a problem. Like Spencer Dinwiddie, you don't really get to the rim that much. 20.24 free throw attempt rate. Under the rim score despite his length and not really a huge first step. But I think what he's able to do with the ball outside of that is really, really good, especially him for only being 18 years old. And I like this pick for the Wizards. Again, another project type guy. He'll be able to grow alongside Alex Sarr. So I love this pick.
And learn from Jordan Poole.
Yep. Learn from Jordan Poole for sure. Yep.
The rim pressure is the biggest concern. Like I think he only took 57 shots at the rim all year, and only 2 of them were dunks. Like he is not getting to the rim at all.
Yeah.
So I think he needs time, but I'm there. I like this pick a lot for the Wizards, and like the potential for him pairing with Alex Sarr is actually really, really exciting. I might name the Wizards the winner of this damn draft at this point. I like those picks. Oh, okay. They traded up 2 picks.
Yes, from 28 to 24 or 26 to 24.
26 to 24. So now the Knicks are picking 25, 26 instead of 24, 25.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right. Well, honestly, I think the Wizards just saw the Bucks take AJ Johnson and said, "This is our time. Let's strike right now and take Isaiah Collier."
After they took Bub Carrington?
Get your backcourt of the future set.
Backcourt of the future? That's an incredible backcourt to think about. Bub Carrington and Isaiah Collier.
Okay, are they taking Flip?
I mean, I think you got to go just every, like, if you want to get projects for every
KyShawn George?
I don't like KyShawn George, but
Cam Christie?
I'd like Cam Christie. Here we
go. Combe Dadier is my guess. Frenchman.
With the 24th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select KyShawn George.
There's KyShawn George to the Wizards. I like it. All right, so they have their guard in Bub Carrington. They have their wing in KyShawn George, and they have their forward in Alexander Sarr. From a PR perspective, from a fan perspective, you have your core of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Bilal Coulibaly. So it's like you traded Denny Avdia out of here. Cool. This is like they're playing Empire State of Mind. Poor guys going to Washington, not New York. But like that's the theory now. All right, let's talk about KyShawn George a little bit because I like this pick. I have him 29th on my board, which is not too far off of where he actually was picked. Freshman out of Miami, older freshman, spent 1 year international playing in France in the French B League, and the 1 year in France or at Miami did not produce a ton. Just didn't produce a ton. A lot of this is betting on projectable skills. Shooting, shot the hell out the ball. I think he's potentially a top 10 shooter in this draft. 40% from 3, shot off the dribble threes, had some catch and shoots, has good range. Like I'm buying the shooting. 78% from the free throw line. So like shooting, boom, sets a baseline. And then you get to the defense where a lot of teams and people are buying the defense side of the ball and his length and like the playmaking potential there. So boom, immediately 3 and D, 6'7", like doesn't need the ball in his hands. I think like let me read my notes, read through my notes, but like that's kind of my gist on KyShawn George.
I think you hit on all the things that he does really well. I don't buy him as a player. He's not in my first round on my big board because I think he's going to be too one-dimensional on the offensive end because I don't think he'll be able to finish at the rim. He only converted 24 shots at the rim in 31 games. Only had 27 free throws. Not very physical. Not a lot of touch. Only made 1 floater last year. For me, if he's only going to shoot threes, I think that it limits his ceiling significantly, and I don't really see. There wasn't really a lot of flashes for me in terms of that. I mean, you're getting to the line at a .142 rate.
Yeah.
And his shooting is good, but it's not one of the top in the draft. I mean, you said top 10, which is fine, but like I think there's a gap between the top 5 and then you go to the last top 5 of the draft. So
he's definitely not explosive. Like athletically, he's not super impressive.
Right.
Like he's 32-inch vertical, not strong right now. Like you said, doesn't finish very well at all. Defensively needs to get more aware. I will add on to another strength that I didn't talk about initially. He had a lot of like on-ball reps. Now the usage percentage is low, 17.5%.
Yeah.
But when he was on the court or when he was getting the ball, it felt like a lot of it was on ball reps, ball screens, like kind of pushed the ball in transition and kind of made decisions out of there. So I thought the passing was showed flashes of being a real strength. So again, if you can build on those, I think you're looking at a guy that can be a really reliable wing for you. Again, it's projecting, so I understand it. I had him 29th on my board, so I'm not like caping for him the way I caped for like Bub Carrington, but George definitely has like tools to me that get him in my first round.
For sure. Yeah.
Comps or anything like that?
I got Cam Johnson as a comp.
I have Rodney Hood. 6'7" shooter. 6'8" shooter.
What a throwback name.
Julian Champagny. So there you go. 2 tall
Rodney
shooters. Rodney Hood. Shout out to Rodney Hood.
Incredible.
But yeah, that's all we got.